Hey, what's up? So you hate your job. How badly do you hate your job? Do you hate your job every single day? Do you hate your job 10 days out of a month? Do you hate your job 2 days a week? I think most people probably don't love their job. And even if they do love their job, they don't love their job 24/7. Now, with that in mind, I think people should expect some days, some moments at work to not be great, whether it's you don't get along with a coworker, whether it's the work itself is very difficult or demanding, whether, there's a string of bad things that happen. I think it should be normal to expect things like this to happen at work. It's probably like a classic bell distribution curve. And if you have that expectation, if you have that understanding, I think it makes it a lot easier to get through a few bad days in the year. And the reason I'm talking about this is because, if something bad happens at work, some people, their first thought might be, I'm done, I'm out of here, I'm not taking this treatment. And then they'll start looking for a job immediately. But I think a more calmer approach, a more stoic approach is to expect this and compare it to how work has been in the past, right? If you've had a string of 2 great months and then maybe 2 days aren't that great, maybe somebody's acting up or they're giving you attitude or the work's been really difficult, but then after those 2 days, or maybe even after a week, work's back to normal and it's good again. And, maybe you have another 2 or 3 months of a really good period. You're doing good work, you're enjoying your work, you like the company of people and all that stuff. And maybe after the 2 or 3 months, there's another bad thing that happens. Is that enough to keep it satisfactory for you? Because obviously if you're having a bad day every single day, if you're not getting along with someone that you have to work closely every single day, that can be extremely frustrating. And, that's probably a different conversation. But if it's only a few things here and there out of the year, then, you're probably in a good spot, because if you've had experience at a few different companies, you'll know that this kind of thing happens. It happens more at some companies, more in some teams. And so you kind of have to look at it as a whole package, right? Are you getting paid well? Because if you look at it like you're getting paid well, then you can kind of put it under the umbrella of, oh yeah, I'm getting paid to deal with the stress of this. Or, maybe it's the company is really close to where you live, maybe it's got really good perks, etc., etc. All that comes into play. But yeah, all things considered, I think it's really good in times of inflated stress to take a step back, see how well things have actually been working, try to average it out. And, you want, of course you want to have a bit of a backbone if anyone or anything presses you per se, and it can always be challenging, trying to keep a harmony. And, some people try and play with power dynamics at work and things like that. So it's a tricky subject, but if you kind of simplify it to how many days do you actually dislike during work, how many days are actually tolerable, how many days are actually good, and average it out, maybe compare it to some previous jobs if you've had a few jobs that you've worked at. And if everything works out that it's okay, then don't overreact at the first bad thing that happens at a company. Work through it. People can have bad days as well, right? Or people might be a little bit overexcited some days. Maybe they're going through something personally. Maybe they're a little bit frustrated about something that someone's been working on, maybe something you've been working on or a part of. Maybe there's discussions behind the scenes. And some people can be animated, some people can be quiet, some people can be whatever. Sometimes you have quiet people that speak up some days. Sometimes you have people that are usually talking all the time, give other people a chance to talk, or maybe they don't feel like talking on a certain day. And so, emotions go up and down. Life can be stressful. Work can be stressful. Just because you might be able to regulate your emotions and separate work and personal, etc. well, doesn't mean everyone else can. And, work is a big part of life. And sometimes work does bleed into life. Sometimes life bleeds into work. And so, yeah, expect a few bad days at work. Hopefully not all days at work is bad. But if it's just a few, if it's a net positive, then you're probably in a good place. If not, might be worth reconsidering. Thanks for watching. See you next time.